My car was on track to be repossessed. I had a mortgage. I was also paying rent at an apartment. The numbers started to get real crazy and it just became overwhelming. So most people go to work to pay their debt.
That's basically the modern day slavery right there. In a nutshell, you got to change the way you look at money and understand that this is all worthless.
They don't want you to be sovereign. They're not going to teach you how to get to their level because they make more or benefit more from you when you don't know. And they don't want you to think outside the box or critically think about your life. They want you to be more of a drone and think like them or think like how they want you to think.
Before we do anything else, we want to state this is not legal advice. This video is for entertainment purposes only. And anything that we discuss in this video, we implore everyone to do their own research because we're all responsible for our own education. All right, perfect. So Nick, I was reading your Instagram bio and it says that you do wealth tactics, you're a capital access coach, and you teach consumer law completely free. I want to start at the beginning because I believe that whatever it is that we struggle with usually reveals our true purpose. So what was your introduction into consumer law and why do you think it was imperative for you to not only learn this, but to teach it for free?
My introduction into consumer law, that's a great question. I had the same problems that we all had. My car was on track to be repossessed. I had a mortgage and I was also paying rent at an apartment. The reason why I had those two payments was because I was attempting to rent out my home. But, I was brand new to the renting space, so I was still learning, procrastinated a couple months, got behind on my mortgage, and the numbers started to get real crazy. I had heard about remittance through a business partner of mine the year prior, but I didn't fully understand what it meant. I started watching videos about coupon remittance, and that kind of just opened up the floodgate about what was happening behind the scenes when it came to debts, when it came to bills. So I had a very surface level understanding, but I didn't start diving into it seriously until I actually needed it. When I got behind on my mortgage, when I got behind on my car payment, I think I was paying for two cars. I was paying for my car, I was paying for my girlfriend's car at the time. I was paying rent, I was paying a mortgage, and it just became overwhelming. And I was also growing a business too. I figured if I tap into consumer law, if I can figure out how to discharge a debt, and I can figure out how to put myself in a position to communicate with debt collectors and not have to worry about paying or being so fixated on making sure the debt was paid, then I will have a little bit more freedom. And obviously it didn't go exactly how I expected it. I've had failures. The mortgage company attempted to foreclose on the house. Thank God they haven't foreclosed on the house. I was able to do just enough. But it wasn't perfect starting out. I got excited about a couple videos, which a lot of people may do with my videos, get excited and just start taking action without fully understanding it. And that was me in the beginning. Probably, no, this is 2022, going into 2023 was when I really started going through those financial troubles. And I'll tell you, it wasn't until 2024 where I fully started to understand it, and going into 2025 where I really had confidence and found the legal merit behind what I was doing. It was all a theory to me. It seemed mythical even while I was doing it. And I've gotten some success, but when I really look back, that was just luck. I didn't even take him through the full process. May have sent the debt validation letter here, was able to represent myself in court for some cases. Went to court for my HOA company. My mortgage company never even gotten a chance to take me to court. I was even in the position where they was about to auction off my house, and the letter I sent them literally stopped the auction. And to this day, they haven't been able to auction off the house. Still have the property in my name, so I'm blessed and grateful for that. But haven't had to pay it this entire time. Still have ownership over the house. Of course, that first vehicle got repossessed, but my second vehicle, I challenged the debt and was able to stop the debt collectors. That vehicle ended up getting totaled. So,
So the one thing I really am hearing right now is that everything that you've done, you're self-educated and you learn through your own personal experience. And I think that's the reason why I really like all of your content because I could tell you were someone who went through the process and you learned exactly how to do it. And I don't think that enough people, especially on YouTube, when they're trying to teach others, are very vocal about exactly what it takes to actually do all of these things. Like you said, you didn't fully understand it, but as time went on, you started to grasp this information. And I think that, like, first of all, your story is very inspirational, and I really do appreciate you sharing that with us. And right now, like I was telling you prior, I released a video where I was talking about infinite money and how you can actually use discharge or discharge debt in order to repair your credit, among other things. But someone put me onto one of your videos, and that's exactly how I got to you. So for everyone that's watching this video right now, there's something that you could look up called the Emergency Banking Act of 1933. For everyone, again, I'll put a link in the description so you guys can look this stuff up. But it's also been called HJR 192, which stands for House Joint Resolution 192. This was eventually codified into U.S. law as a statute. It's not a law, and it's not in the sense of common law. It is commercial law, because everything that we're dealing with, we're talking about commerce. But this thing basically took away the ability to pay back debts. You're not able to do that with gold or silver anymore. And as for, like, what I even learned from your content, and I mentioned in my video, Black's Law Dictionary almost says the exact same thing. A lot of people don't know this, but we don't embrace notes, bonds, or evidence of debt. And then the dollar is just a promissory note. We call it a note. It's short for promissory note, and it's a type of negotiable instrument. And if we look at the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, then it defines a negotiable instrument as, such. But basically, I did all this stuff. I talked about it, went through this entire thing about how to remedy this situation. They allow you to discharge debt, which then literally, when I was like, okay, how am I going to explain this? Came to your video, everything laid out perfectly. Clearly. I was like, well, damn, I don't even need to do this. And it's like everything is here. And it was like and it was explained in a way where I didn't, like, I feel like I have a hard time trying to, like, people think I'm really good at it, but I actually have to do a lot of work to try to explain ideas to people. I want to see if basically we could break this down in a very, very simple way.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll try to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, I know. And I know it's not easy because it's like, even when I was trying to do it, I'm like, this is not the easiest thing to explain. But when we get a statement in the mail, we get like a bill or something like that. There's a number on there.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that number exactly? And what is, I guess, where would the average person find this?
Okay, so I mean, there's plethora of numbers on the statement.
Mm.
You understand me? It's really thinking about what they are delivering to you, which is a bond with a coupon attached to it. Now, for those of you guys that are, understand private banking or understand just banking in general, we know that bonds are securities, and securities are money to the bank, financial assets to the bank. So what they do is they send you a bond with a coupon attached to it. And when you look at the definition of a coupon is a interest check. Okay. It's not something that you would pay. It's a check. And when you look at it, it looks like a check. Am I right or am I right?
No, you were definitely right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. And so and I thought that was crazy because it's like, okay, we're receiving an instrument, which is a coupon that we can now turn into a check. Why are we getting this in the first place?
Because because our rights, our God-given rights, is to have those essential services. If I did a video on utility bills, and I learned that the utility companies, we are under the assumption that they are prepaying for the utilities, loaning us the utilities, and we're paying it back. But the reality is that they're actually getting government bonds and revenue bonds that is already paying for the service. Why is that? Because having this service is a God-given right. Okay. This is just supreme law that goes above commercial law. Okay. And obviously, like, one may say, okay, well, if they are delivering the service or was prepaid or whatever the case may be, like, I should pay them back. But what if that government bond was in place because we need to have these services in order to survive? But what happened was, the fraudulent part is the fact that they are not informing us on this. Okay, if you say that you're prepaying for something and you are loaning us an energy source that we have to pay back because you paid for the source yourself, absolutely, we should pay that back. But what if that wasn't the case? And it's now not even really a conversation about you owing somebody. It's more about the conversation of the contract itself. Okay, what did you contract to? Debt is literally just a contract, okay, an agreement between two parties. And these parties have to, and I don't want to dive too deep, but long story short, there must be value and consideration, okay? Our value is what we sign off on, which our signature monetizes that loan agreement, or monetizes, if we're talking about a utility bill, when we sign off on that agreement, that becomes something that they can make money off of in the first place, or afford them the ability to be able to get these revenue bonds. Okay. But we are under the assumption that they are getting it through their own sources. They are using their own money. So that's why we pay them back. But what that coupon is more of a interest check, and it's a surplus of the money that was released to them that they are giving back to us to then credit the account. Okay, so I'll just kind of pause there and just we'll compound the conversation as we go.